Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name is Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. It is Monday, February 10th. Having a good weekend, or we had a good weekend. We're having a good day today so far, getting things done. Pretty busy. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. We had two people racing this weekend, at least two people that I saw finish their races. We had Keith Jones getting it done in New York. I think it was a 5K or either a 2-miler or a 5K that he got done. I did see him post a picture of himself with his medal. His little Valentine's Day medal is pretty cute, but congratulations, Keith. Way to get it done. And Jen Bergstrom out in Colorado, the Stories Ultra Marathon. Look, I saw pictures of you out there. I saw a picture of you running, and I don't know how far you ran. It was a timed race, so it's one of those where they give you a certain time frame, like 6 hours or 12 hours, or whatever, and then you just run as much as you can within that time. And I didn't quite get how many miles you ran this weekend, Jen, but I saw you're posting about it, so I'm assuming you got a lot of miles in. I'm going to just assume that. Stephanie Brown, I didn't see you post either today or this weekend. I know you were supposed to do a 5K in Melbourne, Florida. I hope you got that done. Congratulations if you did. And I'm sure we'll be seeing you out there doing more races. You're all over our race calendar. She's, I had a friend of mine, Brooke Farrington, who once said, the reason I schedule so many races is because I just hate training. So I just schedule races, and I just consider that training. So hey, that's one of the ways to get it done, right? It's one of the ways. So Stephanie and Keith Jones. I think the two of you guys are tied for like the most cumulative number of races that you guys get done. It's amazing. It's amazing the volume. Hey, get your name on the podcast over and over and over again. That being said, moving on, we have a busy week for Ordinary Marathoner Podcast this week. Let me tell you, tonight I'm going to be interviewing Brent Pease. Brent is a member of Team Hoyt with his brother Kyle. They've written a book called Beyond the Finish, and we're going to talk to him about his experiences. It's one of those deals where Kyle is in the wheelchair and Brent pushes him, sort of like the Team Hoyt things that you see all the time. And I'm really looking forward to talking about his book and hearing about his experiences. I got to do a little bit more research. I'll be getting that done before I talk to him, but it'll be good to get Brent on the podcast and hear his story. I'm sure it's incredible, definitely incredible. And then Thursday we're going to be doing a podcast with 3 ultra runners. So these are all people who have been on the podcast before. Most recently, Brian Burke was on the podcast, but we're also going to have Jen Bergstrom, and we're also going to have Jeff Beeson. All of them have been prior podcast guests. All of them are also scheduled to do the Leadville 100. Which is a huge ultra marathon, 100-mile race in the fall. And we're going to hear from the 3 of them, and we're going to kind of compare notes. How are you guys getting ready for this thing? What are you doing? What are you looking forward to? What's gotten you here? That kind of deal. And I really look forward to kind of hearing and comparing, contrasting how these guys approach these huge, monstrous races and how they get ready for them and accomplish them. What makes them tick? What makes them want to do this stuff to themselves? And then thirdly, we're going to have Melissa Kahn back. Her name is now Melissa Griffin. Congratulations, Melissa. And we're going to talk to her about her training. She's had, I would say, a little bit of a rocky road. Rocky road. But no. I get sidetracked by ice cream. But yeah, she's had a little bit of a rocky road training wise and race wise over the last, I would say, year, maybe 2. She was swearing up and down that she would be making a comeback this year. So we're going to help her with that. We're going to help her along with that and bring her back. The whole Run Heifer Run group is just a great place. One of the, probably the second best community after ours, of course, on Facebook. But we're definitely we're gonna talk to her and prep some stuff. I think we may have some sort of series. Just stay tuned for that, guys, because I think it's gonna be exciting. I also want to thank Heather Samuelson. Heather is a local trainer here. She's awesome. We spent some time with her about a week and a half ago trying to make a video series. We're going to do like a video series on, pre-run stretching, dynamic stretching, how to work out, all different kind of like workout tools and strength training tools for runners and triathletes. And, she is the authority on this kind of stuff, well educated on it, great background. She's been doing it for years. We've had her as a podcast guest years ago, but we're going to bring her back. Hopefully do this video series. Me with the video camera is always hit and miss. So, I'm working on it. I just got to say I'm working on it. It's been busy here though, guys. I'm telling you, really busy. Check out our YouTube channel too, by the way. It's, I love it. We lost a follower today, a subscriber. That drives me nuts. I'm like, yeah, things are building. Then you lose one and you're like, is what it is. But, the Facebook discussion group continues to grow at an amazing pace. It's called Ordinary Marathoners. Join the group. We've had a bunch of people join recently. I think we're getting we're closing in, I think, on 1,200 people. And that's a good mark for us. That'll be a good mark. So let's talk about this weekend because, I have a couple of things that I want to talk about. And I'm going to start with a story from my daughter, Sam. She's 10. And like a lot of people her age, I believe, she is completely engrossed in her iPad, her laptop computer, which when I bought for her, I told her it was only for schoolwork, and now it's for playing Roblox. If you're unfamiliar with the game, it's like just a popular game. They love TikTok, which is, it's social media, right? I can't really say anything because I'm all over social media too, but some of the things I see on TikTok, I'm like, oh, I hope she doesn't see that stuff. Anyway, and you try, as a parent, you try to pry the kids away from the electronics. You try your best sometimes. But it's hard. Different parents do different things. I'm not trying to say one way is the right way, one way is the wrong way. I think that it is necessary for them to learn about electronics and for them to learn about the internet and what's on there and what to avoid. When to call your parents for, hey, this, I don't know if I'm supposed to be looking at this kind of stuff, all that kind of things. Me and Sam have a great relationship when it comes to that. She probably spends a little more time on the iPad than I would like her to do, right? So yesterday, Sam had a basketball game at 2:00, and we went out. We watched the game. I picked her up. She was with her mother before. I picked her up at the game. She did great. No points, but we don't judge in points. They actually lost. They're a pretty good team, and they lost. But she played well. I was very proud of her. She hustles, and just it was a good hour worth of time productive things, right? Non-iPad things. So after the game, we took her and her friend Bella over to a place called Bounce, which is a trampoline place, right? So they basically bounce off the walls for an hour. They had a blast. They loved it. They wanted to stay longer, but we didn't. We had the baby and we wanted to head home. So we're heading home, and then we went out for dinner. I didn't feel like cooking because we just been through all this stuff, and I didn't want to spend an hour cooking. Mind you, I hadn't even done my bike ride. I was scheduled to do an hour and a half bike ride, and hadn't done it yet. It had been one of those days where we woke up, baby crying, things to do, got to go shopping, got to do things. And, there's always a thing, there was no 90-minute window up until Sam's game. So I couldn't have gotten it done in the morning. I would have had to wake up super early, which isn't out of the question, but I kind of felt like I'd be able to squeeze it in later on anyway. So I didn't. Anyway, let's move on. We dropped her friend. We went out and had dinner. She ate pretty healthy. She had a burger, but it was a good burger joint. It wasn't like a fast food place. Got home, dropped her friend off, got home, and Ellie, the baby, has a kitchen set that our friend of ours bought for her. Now, the kitchen set showed up about a week or two ago and was an absolute nightmare to put together. I mean, the instructions were just terrible. Stephanie started putting it together. She needed some help, so I started helping out. It was a nightmare. One of the, does the plastic piece go this way or this way? And it's not clear, like they have the little pre-drilled holes in the board where you're supposed to put the certain screws, and then you try to match it up to the picture, but the picture doesn't match up to the actual piece of wood. So you have no idea if you're doing it right or doing it wrong. It's a nightmare, a disaster. So we spent one good night putting it together. We realized that we were missing a piece. So Stephanie called up and got the piece delivered. Now we sit in like a half-finished little kitchen set for our 1-year-old in the corner. It's been like that for a week. The piece came a couple days ago. So we got home. I went on the bike to start my bike, and Sam and Stephanie put together the rest of the kitchen set. What does this have to do with training? I don't know. There's a story. It gets somewhere. So Sam goes and showers, goes to bed. She's a little bit late for bed by the time everything's over, and I go up there. Now we have this notebook, and I mentioned this notebook because it's kind of special. And I think when Stephanie got this for Sam a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, and what we do with the notebook is we write a note to Sam. We write a little letter, and we'll put it in her room. And then she writes a letter back, and she'll, I go to bed some nights, and the notebook is there, and we read a little. Sam writes us a note. It's super cute. So Sam left the notebook on the bed, and I picked it up, started reading it. And she was like, "Oh, I had so much fun today. The basketball game, going to bounce with her friend, going out to dinner." And then really even just, what's a nightmare to me, putting together this kitchenette thing. Nightmare. She actually enjoyed doing it. And it's so strange because, here's someone who's, her inclination when she gets home is to go upstairs and lock herself in the room and play on her iPad or computer, talk to her friends. And here she is now doing a task that I find absolutely horrible, like torturous. But the fact that she sat there and followed the instructions and put things together and did so with Stephanie and was able to kind of watch her work come to fruition, right? And see that she could build this thing that's pretty much for adults, right? She's 10. She's got a wrench and a screwdriver, and she did all the work. She did all the work. And even like later on, I went up to help a little bit, and she wanted to do it. She didn't want me to do it. She wanted to do it, but she wanted me to show her how to do it. So she did a lot. She just was so excited that she decided to write in the notebook that, what a great day. And I wrote her back, and a little snarky, but, see, you can have fun without the iPad kind of thing. Anyway, the point of the matter is this, is we all have things that kind of draw us. Maybe things that aren't good for us, right? Maybe things that aren't the most productive use of our time, but we enjoy doing it. Maybe we're addicted to it at times. I think sometimes that comes in when I talk about my daughter and the iPad. Like it's almost like she knows it's not good, but she can't stop herself from using it. And I think we all have these kind of things that they take up our time, whether it be watching Netflix. Steph and I just started a new series. I don't even want to tell you what it is, but we watched a couple things this weekend. And I'm just, when you sit down and you watch a show and it's an hour and there's 4 episodes and then you watch all 4 in one sitting, it's kind of a waste of time. You got to make sure that you get the things done that you want to get done. Now, Saturday, I ran 5 miles, which was the distance I wanted to do. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of easing back into the running. That's the longest run I've done in probably 3 months. My feet were killing me, and I think I need new running shoes. The ones I'm using are not good. And honestly, I think the last time I used these ones, they look brand new. And the reason they look brand new is because the last time I bought them, I started running with them, and they were hurting my feet. So I stopped. And I think that was kind of around the time I got plantar fasciitis too. And I don't know, maybe it has something to do with the shoe, maybe not. It's pure conjecture at this point. But I need to get new shoes. It's fine. But anyway, I got the 5 miles done. I felt good about that. I felt good about it. That was my goal. And then Sunday came along. Now, Saturday night, we had Laura Stebbins over for dinner, opened a bottle of red wine, had some steaks, talked shop a lot about training, about coaching. And I got to tell you, it's really good to have a friend that's a coach because you get to bounce ideas off of them and talk about it. And she helps me. I hope I help her. And, it's good. Otherwise, if you don't talk to someone else who's in your profession, and share ideas and share thoughts, it's like you're kind of just building your own cocoon, and you're not branching out and helping anyone. You're only doing your own thing. So we had a good time, and that was one of the reasons I didn't wake up. So I gave up my Sunday morning, early morning, for a bottle of red wine with actually a nice Costco steak, and it was worth it. Basically, I'm saying it was worth it. I just knew that I had to get this 90-minute bike ride in on Sunday. The thing is, look, I could have forced myself to get up early in the morning on Sunday. I didn't know how I was going to feel knowing that I drank close to a bottle of wine, if not the full bottle. I think I did, actually. Anyway, I didn't know how I'd feel. My thought was if I forced myself to get up at 6 a.m. and get that ride in, A, it was going to be exhausting. B, I didn't know what kind of shape I was going to be in, and I was just setting myself up for failure. Setting myself up for 45 minutes of sweating alcohol out and being like, ugh, this is horrible, and then getting off the bike without completing the workout, which was the last thing I wanted to do. You know, at some point you have to make up your mind. You got to set yourself up for success rather than failure. So then, you know, we went through the morning, went and saw Sam play basketball, went to the bounce place that I just played chaperone. Sam's now at that age where she wants to go to the different areas of the bounce park, but she doesn't want me to follow her. She doesn't want to have like a parent looking over her shoulder. But I'm the parent of a 10-year-old and her friend, and I know, the last thing I want is someone snatching her and dragging her out of the place without me seeing it. So now I have to kind of strategically place myself in areas where she can't leave the place unless she comes past me. But I'm also not there to see her, so it doesn't look like her dad is following her around. Got it? Anyway, so we spent that time, I spent my day doing that. And then we come home and we go to Max Burger. And I got to tell you, I wasn't going to name the place, but it's called Max Burger. Max Burger is it's like a bar restaurant. It's a burger place. And look, I had a choice. They have tons of local beers on tap. It's one of these places where I go in and I see football on TV. They had the XFL on. I'm a big fan. I see football on TV and I just, and I don't know what it is. It's like my nature or, just habits. Old habits die hard. Once I'm in that area, I want a beer. That's what I want, is I want to relax. I want to watch a game. I want to eat some food. And even the food, I got to be honest, I've gotten over. So I ordered a salad. I ordered a salad with grilled shrimp on top. Right. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I got to ride. And the menu comes over and they have all these beers on tap and it's special drinks, and look, it's not a full battle for me. Like, I don't pretend to be an alcoholic and someone that I don't want sympathy is what I'm saying. I don't want you to pat me on the, what I'm saying is it's almost force a habit to sit down at the bar, have a beer. But I know if I have a beer, it's going to seriously affect A, the probability of me getting on the bike, and B, my performance if I do. Both of those for sure. So I drank water. And again, it's like one of those things where you have to kind of ask yourself, all right, what's more important to me at this time? I'm there with my wife, my 1-year-old, 2 10-year-olds. What's more important? Have water, have a salad, jump on the bike for 90 minutes when I get home, or have a beer and ruin it all? And I made the right choice. And again, I'm not trying to say this to pat myself on the back. I'm trying to say it to share my experience. Because I feel like, we all have choices. And sometimes I sit down and watch 4 hours of Netflix. Although I did get my workout in. That was actually the payoff, the benefit, the prize, if you will, of finishing my 5-mile run, was to sit down and kind of relax. But the Sunday was challenging all day long. I had things to do, running around, getting things done, following my kid, doing all this stuff. Sit down and the lure of wanting to just relax and enjoy myself and have a beer and watch football was pretty strong. But the lure of, this is not going to make me a better cyclist. This is not going to help me when I get to that start line in July at Ironman Muscleman 70.3, and I didn't do my 90-minute bike ride. Instead, I had a beer and watched football, with the 10-year-old girls and my baby and my wife. What means more to me? The answer to that is simple. Obviously, when you think about it, the answer is simple. It always is, and it's very similar. And the reason I told these two stories is very similar, right? It's similar to Sam. When she gets home and she's like, oh, I could, or she writes me the note. I had fun tonight. I had fun playing basketball, going to bounce, going out to dinner with you guys, and putting together this refrigerator thing, this kitchenette set for my 1-year-old. Absolute torture for me. She enjoyed it because she was doing something productive with her time that wasn't her addiction. right? It wasn't the pull of that iPad. So she gets, and I feel like you got to show her, right? You got to show her these things. And for her, when you think about it, similar choice for me. Here I am. I could enjoy myself. The allure of, her lure is the iPad. My lure was having a beer at dinner and watching football. And we both kind of battled those and did other things, productive things. When you go to bed at night, you feel great about it. You feel absolutely great about it. Now, I did a 90-minute bike ride, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy ride. I really have issues staying on that bike for anything over, say, an hour and 15 minutes. It just, I don't know what it is. I have been trying new things, different nutrition plans and all this. But when I get to over an hour on that bike, my quads start to just scream out, and sitting on that seat for so long just really, really hurts. I start to get annoyed, and I just want to get off that bike. But you got to just focus and put yourself through it. I mean, I read about people doing 5-hour rides on the trainer, Sarah Bauman, and I'm like, my God, I don't know how you do it. I honestly don't know how you do it. I can't sit on that thing. If I sit on there for 2.5 hours, it is a huge, huge accomplishment. It's one of those things I just got to work on, and I knew I had to work on it, and therefore the choice was easy. So, it got me thinking. Sam is making these choices at 10 years old, and she's making productive choices at times. So now she knows, and she felt better. It's just like training, You know what your productive use of time is, and you know what your unproductive use of time is. You just got to make the choice. You just got to make the choice. So, and that being said, I think I'm going to leave you with that thought for today. I don't know. Feel good about this weekend. Felt good about getting things done. Felt good about my bike ride. I even felt pretty good about the run. I do have to start working on my run a little bit more. That's going to be doing a run later today. And lots going on here, guys. Stay tuned for those interviews that we got coming in the next few weeks. I apologize. I haven't had an interview in like the last 2 weeks, but we're going to make up for it. I swear. Anyway, that being said, remember, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.